Begin tonight. God damn it! I will get this right one day. All right.
We'll cut that out.
It's the pity, dude. I'm telling you, it's the pity, man. Oh, we're in trouble.
Yeah. Things are definitely getting messy here.
Let's try that again, shall we? How is everybody doing? Friends in film fandom, wherever you are, however you may be watching and or listening. I'm stopping the music.
We are the harsh truth, and we're going to try to get through this as best as we can. I'm obviously not Frank, as you can tell, because he directs this with a lot more flow than I do, but it's all good. So we are here, and we are here to talk about some more horror. I feel like we're dipping our toes back into the pool because we got this, and I think pretty much all of next June is we're gonna start talking about some 28 days, 28 weeks.
Get messy.
It's gonna get messy, and that's gonna be the theme for tonight. Anywho, so yeah, we're talking about Final Destination's Bloodlines, and I also need the show notes. So while I do that, I will let the man himself, probably the one who's more qualified to do this topic, shape from the Lone Star State. That will be Tex. How are you, sir?
Well, doing very well, and I'm very good at talking bullshit. So do what you need to do, and I'll carry you. No problem. Yeah, no, doing well. Found a penny on the ground about 2 hours ago, and if you've seen this film, you kind of know how that. Now, do I duct tape this in a book, throw it away? I don't really know what to do with this. I need a Tony Todd to consult. I don't know who I talk to on that. But yeah, no, doing well. It is Texas Frightmare Weekend, my pal, and Saturday I'll be rubbing elbows with David Howard Thornton and Damian Leone. So I'm gonna be in good company. Oh, and I do get to meet Shawnee Smith and Bruce Campbell as well. I'm gonna try not to propose to Shawnee Smith. I'm gonna have the old lady is coming with me. I'm gonna have to hold back, but we'll see what happens. So,
send her to another part of the con. That'll be fine.
It's all good.
Okay. Well, I will open up by saying, fuck you, Elon Musk, and fuck you, Twitter.
Oh, yes. I co-sign it.
Because, yeah he seconds my motion. We got on here, and of course, the only time anything wants to happen and go sideways is right before we go live. Where we all communicate, on Twitter. Apparently, check your Twitters, because messages are all just gone. Every group that you've had, group messages, DMs, you're not allowed to slide into DMs right now. So do with that information what you will. So I'm going to fly by the seat of my pants with notes, show notes, because I'm glad Frank showed me how to do that. So I'll just pull it.
Well, Frank would have been here, but we do know that he is moving, and he had a very unfortunate accident. He was loading his furniture into the back of the U-Haul, and then just a freak accident, that door that rolls down on the back just cut the son of a bitch right in half, and he went everywhere. So, he could. Frank's fine. He'll be back next week. He may look a little different, but we'll do what we got to. It's fine. So no worries.
Hopefully it's just a premonition, right? So
you never know, man. Shit's weird tonight. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, there's some freaky voodoo going on right now. Anywho, so we're talking about Final Destination, if it wasn't obvious yet. So Final Destination Bloodlines is a 2025 American supernatural horror film directed by Zach Lipovsky.
Lipovsky? I think is how you say that. I think so.
Butcher that name. Adam Stein, or Stein, however you want to say it. And written by Guy Busick. I almost said Gary Busey. That would have been wild.
That'd be a great movie.
Little bit of buttered sausage. Whatever. And Laurie Evans Taylor. Based on a story developed by them and Jon Watts. It is the 6th installment of the Final Destination film series, following Final Destination 5 from 2011. Holy crap. The film stars Kaitlyn Santa Juana as a college student who inherits visions of a previous premonition that averted a deadly structure failure from 1968 from her dying grandmother, and is warned that death is coming for her family. Teo Briones, Richard Harmon, Owen Patrick Joyner, and Allure Brec Bassinger, Jesus, and of course the wonderful Tony Todd, may he rest in peace, appears in
R.I.P.,
supporting
buddy.
roles.
R.I.P.
Oh yeah, like I said, there are a few people that I say earn the F-bomb as a middle name. It is Tony fucking Todd.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I love it. All right. After the commercial success of The Final Destination 5, a new film entered development described as being, quote, a reimagining of the franchise. In March 2020, series producer Craig Perry said the film would be set, quote, in the world of first responders. And in October of that year, series creator Jeffrey Reddick confirmed that it was, in fact, the sixth film of the franchise. In January 2022, the film was planned to be released on the streaming service HBO Max. And we're going to keep calling it HBO Max because that didn't last long. Also, rest in peace, Max. With Lipovsky, yeah, and Stein as directors, and Busick joining Taylor for the film. In March of 2024, this sounds like development hell. Oh my god. Warner Brothers announced that the film would instead receive a theatrical release. Filming took place in Vancouver from March to May of 2024, following delays from the SAG-AFTRA strike. Of course, Final Destination Bloodlines was finally released in the United States by Warner Brothers on May 16th, 2025. It received generally positive reviews from critics, becoming the best reviewed film in the franchise, and has grossed, and I don't know if this is accurate at the time of this recording, but 121.2 million worldwide.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's nothing to sneeze at, I'll tell you that.
Oh, shit.
Where's... how he does this. That's the trailer. That's the box office. See what happens when you don't have notes. I just have to see. This is what happens when you get live. You get the fun stuff with me.
Thanks, Elon. You fucking bastard. You're up fucking with shit. Can't see.
Well,
this is how big we're getting. Where Elon is fucking with us. We're really making it big, guys. Like I can tell, they don't mess with you if you're not a threat, So that's how it works.
No, I mean, I don't know what we all did to not deserve our DMs.
I'm sure I said something dumb at some point in time. I do that on a regular basis. So.
We've filmed so many things. I'm like, why? In the words of one of my favorite YouTubers, when he's talking about, he's like, people come up to me all the time and they start quoting these terrible things. I'm like, why are you saying such awful things? And he's like, and then I remember, I said those things. Oh, right. They're quoting me. Anywho, I'll look for some more stuff, but Tex, you want to give me just kind of general thoughts and overview before we really dive deep into the lore?
Yeah. I love this franchise. Yeah. I think this is one of the few horror franchises with like an Evil Dead or something of the sort that's yet to have a bad film. I've seen all 6. I watched the first 5 before going to see this one, and then I've seen this one twice. So these are, we've got our mass killers, Michael, Jason, whatever. We've got the Exorcist. We've got the possessed girls over here. But what tops all of those but death itself? We're all going to deal with it at some point. And that's what makes these movies so fun. These movies are, what's the most creative ways that you can see somebody die? Whether it's through laser eye surgery, a roller coaster, or a piano falling on your head like your Wile E. Coyote because you're a little shit kid and you deserve it. Either way, this is a fun franchise. It took forever to get this movie because Warner Brothers is the worst managed entertainment company in the world, in my opinion. Just look at what they're doing with DC over the years. But these movies are fun. You don't go into these movies trying to think too hard. You just go to eat your popcorn, smile, and go, oh, crap, look at that. I didn't see that coming. And you have fun with those things. Yeah, well, it's what we used to do at the movies before everything got, politicized stuff down our throats and everything was horrible like is made nowadays for the most part. So, yeah, I like these movies. This one was fun. I went and saw it twice. It tells you. So I don't do that with bad. So.
Yeah, I agree. I think I found the other thing that Frank always talks about. The film became the best reviewed installment in the franchise, which I did mention. The Rotten Tomatoes, it has a 92% of 170 critics review a positive. The website's consensus reads, quote, adding some surprise emotional layers into the ghoulish bones of the Final Destination's mythology. Bloodlines ingeniously, Jesus, I can't read today, executes grisly set pieces with precision turns and impending doom onto the outrageous fun. Yeah, I could definitely agree with that. Yeah, I know. Excuse me. I've seen, I think, all of these at least once, and unfortunately, but I think the second time I've been going through now is because she's starting to watch them. But luckily,
Really?
like
Cool.
yeah, because she was getting into them. I think the first time she watched them, she was literally in the middle of watching, I think, 2, and they yoinked them right off of HBO Max. So she actually didn't get to see. Yeah, she didn't get to see the ending because they just like took it off in the middle of her watching it.
Oh,
but they're all back on there now. So yeah, no. If anyone wants to watch the other movies in the series, they are on HBO Max for free. So if you have that, that's a good avenue to go look at. So I would definitely go watch them again. And again, I would watch this one. This was actually a lot of fun. It was its own contained thing, but still kind of fit within the franchise because there were some Easter eggs that I'm glad that are like, oh, that's from the first movie, that's from the second movie. That's really, you don't have to know a whole lot about the other ones to know that. So where was the cast? Because I think that's what we do next. I've done this show enough. You think I would know? Okay.
It's not like we've ever done this before or anything, y'all. It's not like we're not new or anything.
This is our first time, guys. Please subscribe and share it to people.
Well,
God knows
while you do
YouTube
that,
also helping.
While you do that, one thing I do want to say is,
Yeah,
from what you just said, is about not having to do much homework. It's like we're so used to having to watch 15 different Marvel TV shows and 5 movies to understand what's going on with this next one. There was enough Easter eggs in this movie where I remember that from the last one, but you don't have to watch 15 hours of content. So that's kind of refreshing as well. It's connected, but it's its own thing. So, it's always fun.
Yeah, and like I said, the only things that are like the thing about this is the Easter eggs that do show up. I have a picture of one of them. I couldn't really get a good one of the other. Is when she's flipping through the book and you see the drawing of the truck with the logs on the back. You see the airplane. I was like, even if you don't know that, that's like in the mythos of this movie that like what that is. You don't even have to see the movie.
Well,
people my age, we don't drive behind those trucks because we know damn well exactly what happens. You get a log right through your windshield and through your dome, and it's over. Like,
well, and that's what's so funny. Like what Easter egg wise,
people don't go swimming because of Jaws. I'm like, we don't drive behind those on the road because of that movie. It has that kind of power. It's insane.
Well, Easter eggs wise, like when Steph pricks her finger at the end of the movie on that road, that happened in Final Destination, the end of Final Destination 3. Eric's skull stomach on his tattoo was the cover art for movie 4. Of course, there's a bunch of little things in here, but if you haven't watched them, it's not going to ruin your experience. So they did it smart. They let it in there, and if you know, and if not, enjoy the movie. So it worked.
I do have a shot of another one of those classic Foundation Destination kills, but we'll get there. So I'm assuming next is the excuse me. Next is the cast, and there's quite a few people in here. I don't think anyone that off the top of my head that I really know where anyone's from, other than of course Tony Todd. I know we're supposed to be talking about. We're supposed to be talking about the director. Fuck it. You know what? Why don't we do cast? How about that?
Well, I can quickly do director if you want. I've seen 2 movies that these guys have made. Dead Rising Watchtower, which was it's a zombie apocalypse movie based off of the Dead Rising video games. And then they did Leprechaun Origins, which I'm sure me and 5 other people saw. Like, it's not a very well-known film. They've done some other things, but in the horror world, they're not like John Carpenter by any sense of the word. So, yeah, I think you go.
Okay. I sure as hell wouldn't know then.
Right.
Well, anyway, well, because I was gonna say if we get to the cast, I've texted. Do you want to tell me who your favorite character was in this movie and why was it this man right here, Tony Todd?
He should be winning awards posthumously just for the 5 minutes he's in this alone. Just for getting to write the way that he wrote his own dialogue at that scene of I'm tired. I'm going to go enjoy my life. Saying what he did, how life being precious and all. Like, I could imagine him in like a Jigsaw robe. Like, because the way, it's the voice of Tony Todd. This guy, he voiced Venom, for Christ's sake, in the Spider-Man games. He's Candyman. He was in Night of the Living Dead. He is a horror icon. He is on the top list of, maybe Mount, I don't know if he's Mount Rushmore levels, but he's definitely up there. But yeah, Tony Todd, God rest, man. You did a service that can never be commended enough. But besides him, I got to go with my boy Richard Harmon. Eric, I love this dude in this movie. This dude was a sociopath in training. Like the scene where he's in there with his brother, like, "Hey, we need to kill you. Like, how do we kill you in a hospital?" Totally cool with it. Ready to just do it.
Talking about this guy right here, Eric.
Yeah, Eric was cool.
Yeah.
And like the scene where he finds out his mom was hoeing around back in the day with the neighbor, he just storms out. Like everybody laughed whenever I went to the see these movies. The scene where they're standing there in the hospital and he's like, "Well, if you kill somebody, you take the years that they have." And they look over at the babies over there that are just born. Which,
think about it for a second.
Well, I like how they paused the movie there for a second. They're like, "Wait a minute," because I want to say it's in Final I think it's in 5, where there's a character of Friedkin. I can't remember his first name. He actually does that in the movie. He learns that, if you kill somebody, you take their years. So he goes and he kills a couple people. I like how they play with that in this movie, but they don't actually do it. But, it is what it is. But, yeah, I thought Eric killed it in this film. Now, one question I do have.
What's up?
The death only goes after people of these bloodlines, right? They establish he's not of the bloodline. Yeah. So why did he get that? Yeah.
Her dad.
Yeah. So why did he get the whole deal in the tattoo shop? That makes no sense.
I wanted to bring that up too. You did take my favorite character. I love Eric.
Oh, there you go. Please, go ahead, please. Give your 2 cents.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not mad. He was absolutely my favorite. Obviously, if he doesn't just like scream my vibe. It's the dark hair, the tattoos, I love that guy. He's the one who kind of just flies in the face of death and just, he turned into Simba there from the Lion King. He's like, "I laugh in the face of danger." He's messing with the garbage truck. He's like, after even having that experience, which I think I have a slight picture. That he's in a tattoo
that would
shop.
fucking suck. Holy shit!
God, that's awful. He you can't tell he's got a septum piercing and he gets it caught on the chain, and the chain's being wrapped up by the fan blade in the tattoo shop, and he's having to kind of scale the seat, scale the counter, and like not get his nose ripped out.
I'll say this though, he went through hell that night, and the next day he's as cool as a cucumber, man. He's like, "Oh, it's just another day at work. It's fine. I didn't pick up your call because I was busy. Like, acts like it was just another day. Like, you can't phase me. You ain't getting me." I'm like, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah, the balls on this guy to. Although, rest in peace to his cool leather jacket, though. It ruined his jacket, but
yeah, that sucked. That was not fun.
Yeah. So, I guess we can kind of delve into the plot then. So this, can I go back a little bit? This starts with the opening. We always know the opening scene. That's the iconic thing from this series is what's the big, set piece of people dying. And it starts back in, I'm assuming because they kind of telegraphed the penny really hard that it's in 1968.
Yeah.
They go to this brand new, like high rise. I don't know if it rotates, but one of those high rise like fancy restaurants, and it's grand opening. There's a full band singing. There's fancy chefs. There's champagne, all kinds of cool stuff. And there, I wish I could have found a picture of that damn penny or that little shithead kid who's doing the thing where it's all this kid's fault. Let's be honest. This kid, he's not dead.
I took a lot of shit a few weeks ago whenever I said kids deserve to be killed in horror film. This film proves I was right.
Definitely,
all right?
He definitely did.
Just saying. I can now prove every naysayer be like, "Oh, Texas is blah, blah, blah." No. Look this
he got what he deserved. He kind of got what he deserved.
you get, what did Joker say? You get what you fucking deserve. So,
Exactly. Yeah. So this, so if you see, there's like the little restaurant bit in this bigger lower part, and up top there's like a little railing, and you can kind of look around the top. And we have that's a fire stunt. We go. I'll just get Iris, whatever. So we have Iris, who's there with her. She was awesome. She looks like a discount Jennifer Lawrence. And for a couple times, I was turning my head to the side. I was like, "Is that her? No, it can't be her." Right. But so she gets proposed to. She also found out recently she's pregnant. And yeah, you start to see, and if you know Final Destination, you start seeing the wind whipping around. You're like, "Oh, here comes death." And like I said, we've mentioned this little kid who's on the railing as well, and he's throwing coins down from the top of this building.
Yeah, don't do that. You'll kill somebody. It's bad luck.
Yeah, sure. You fat ass. Okay. Well, you're a little chubby too, kid. I don't want to hear that shit out of your mouth. Come on now.
No shit.
And this kid hucks this penny off the side of the off the railing, and of course, if you've seen these movies, the amount of ridiculous bullshittery that happens. This one little penny flies off, goes in the vent, stops the vent. The fan breaks. The shit's coming in the room. Of course, everybody's dancing, so the glass starts breaking, which is kind of what this shot here is. Everybody's dancing around. The glass is falling through, and then the whole thing lights up. Boom! There it goes. It falls over. It's a whole set piece. People were on fire. I got the fire stunt with the lady. That was pretty cool. And everyone's trying to panic, get in the elevator, get out. And yeah, so who else did I have? No, I don't have that yet. Anyway, so they all fall down, and Iris. I tried to find a picture of her when she's holding onto the kid, and she's holding she's got her ring stuck in that nail, and her finger just comes off.
It's sliding her finger off. Yeah, that was
gruesome.
That was cool. That was gnarly. Yeah. Well,
and then she takes a spike right in the neck, and cut end scene.
See, I knew if you watch these movies enough, you learn to pay attention to the little things. And the first time that we see her, she's blindfolded, so obviously eyesight's gone. So to any veteran of Final Destination films, that's okay. I'm logging that in my brain of something's happening to those eyes. And when she gets spiked down on the ground, that's one of the things that happens. But how this movie starts off, man, just the soundtrack alone. I mean, we go from Creedence Clearwater Revival to Johnny Cash to Shout. The soundtrack alone in this movie is freaking fantastic, dude. All the songs, they're all, of course they're meaningful. The Ring of Fire, Shout, everything else.
There's your Ring of Fire.
Right. Yeah, there's your Ring of Fire right there. And it's, whenever I went to go see this again today, I'm thinking in my head like, okay, how is nobody else in this room seeing, hey, this glass beneath our feet is visibly cracking big like that? Even with the band going, you would hear that. You would think. I mean, I don't know, whatever. But that's not like plate glass window you put in your house. That's like 3-4 inch thick glass. That's going to make some noise. And of course it's semantics. It's a horror film, but I like the beginning of this one where it ranks in all of the beginnings of the film.
That was my next question. What do you think about it in terms of the other openings?
Final Destination, or The Final Destination, the fourth one, still has my favorite. It's at a racetrack, and
with the race
cars explode, tires go through people's heads. Oh, it's so much fun. Mm-hmm. That one's my favorite. I like this one. This one and the roller coaster from 3 is fighting for number 2 because both of those are fantastic. I think after that, I probably have to go the original with the airplane. And the fifth one, it was just a bus crash on the bridge. I mean, it was fine, but it doesn't hold up.
What about the highway with the log truck?
Oh, highway. Oh, of course, yeah.
I was getting worried. I'm like, what about the log truck?
I've got 6 Final Destination worth of information downloaded currently. So yeah, the log scene for itself speaks for itself. And what's so cool about that one is when you have the main girl with her friends in the car, we're programmed to think, oh, here's our cast of characters. No, that's not the main cast. It's just the main girl that's driving. The rest of the main cast is everybody else on the highway that is affected with her. So you kind of get a fake out going into Final Destination too. That's one thing about these movies that they do so well is you kind of get a little mini movie before you get the whole thing. And like Friday the 13th, 2009 did that. They had like a 15-minute segment before you got to the meat of it. And I like when these movies like this do that because we get the carnage and we get our layout of, okay, X, Y, then Z dies. So we can kind of plan it out in our head. And it sets us up for the film. And like how they did with this one. Now, this one was harder to keep up with because they killed a lot of people in this.
This was a lot.
Yeah. Like, even on a second watch, I tried to keep up with who died first. I got like 3 in and then I was lost. Like,
I know.
It was bad.
I know James A. Janice of Dead Meat is going to have a fucking hard time with this one. He's
yeah. Good luck with the kill count.
Frame by frame. Yeah, good luck, James, with this one. Honestly.
There were hundreds, and that's not even counting. Okay, so that's just counting the people that were in this Sky Tower. What about the houses underneath it? Do they count in the kill count? Hey, IMDb, I can't wait for you to put out the wrong number for how many died in this movie, bunch of idiots.
It's a good thing I'm Frank, and I'm not going to entertain that because
there were hundreds.
Oh
yeah, there's no way to keep up with it, but yeah, it's good. I don't know if, like I said, the racetrack's still my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd go to probably Final Destination just for the log scene. My God, that was incredible. And then Roller Coaster and this third tied, probably where I'd go with it.
Okay. So, yeah, and as we know, Final Destination, you have your premonition scene, but usually it's preceded, pretty immediately. But in this one, we don't do that.
They kind of flesh it out.
Forward. Yeah, it flashes forward to. This is the one I have before. There's one I have of her, but it's the background I want for it. But you start out. The girl on the right is Iris's granddaughter, who is the one who has the premonition of what her grandmother. Yeah, Steph, who has the premonition of what her grandmother went through back in the 60s. So that was kind of a new twist that it was like it's her having these visions. There's some weird play with the lore here, but so she's falling asleep in class. She's getting her grades are slipping in college, so she kind of gets put on academic probation. Her roommate tells her, "Go home because I'm going to kill you in your sleep. If you don't die in your sleep, I'm going to kill you in your sleep. Just go home, sort your shit out." So that's what she does, and there's a picture of her brother, which his name was Charlie, I believe.
Yeah,
Charlie. Yes. Yeah. So it's a weird thing to figure out. But so what Steph's gonna go do now is figure out. So why am I having this reoccurring nightmare of my grandmother, right? Who she doesn't really seem to know anything about, and no one in the family wants to talk about it or just kind of dismisses it. Like her own dad doesn't really. He's just like, oh yeah, I threw out all that stuff from grandma. I don't know what happened to it. And also her mom's kind of just MIA. And her mom is
her mom. Daughter. Her mom is the direct child from the grandmother. The dad was outside of the grandmother, out of the bloodline.
So her dad, the mom on the other side of the family, and Charlie, not Charlie, Eric, were the only ones that were technically not in the bloodline.
Safe. No.
Yeah. But, I mean, I kind of wanted to throw my hands up and say, well, then who the hell cares? Because, we saw this happen. And I'm like, well, so what was the point of that?
That's what I'm saying. That scene, while cool, makes no sense.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it makes no sense.
I'm like, well, then if death doesn't matter, I'm like, well, then what does it matter? I mean, we have the rules to this franchise for a reason. But now death is just like, I don't care. I'm like, you're death. You could just kill anybody. I'm like, I don't know why you have this vendetta to just set up these really elaborate Rube Goldberg machinery of of bullshittery to just to kill
Fucking
someone.
mouse
No, that
trick.
is it is entertaining.
Oh, it's great. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I was kind of thinking like this is like Saw. It's like while you do kind of care about the story in the background, I'm like, well, we came here for the kills and the interesting,
No shit. Yeah.
elaborate ways of like how do we kill people. That's what we're like entertained by, seeing the creativity come out of this. There's something else. There was another franchise I was kind of like Friday the 13th. I'm like, how many different ways has Jason Voorhees like killed somebody?
Right.
It's insane.
If you're going to watch a Friday the 13th movie, you're going for a few things. Murder, all of the things that I love, murder and tits. It's what you're going to a Friday the 13th for. That's why those movies are made. They keep it simple. Well, the good ones keep it simple. The bad ones take Jason and turn him into a worm thing, and then he becomes everybody in that movie.
Oh yeah,
but whatever. We don't watch that one, so it's fine. So, that is what it.
All right, so so that was my biggest question about this was, so why is something that happened in 1968 with the grandmother when she was younger, and now we're flash forwarding like 50 years to like the present day. Right. So why is this happening now? I'm like, usually, like I said, you see the premonition, and then it's literally the next thing that happens. Boom! It's like I said, the airplane, the highway, anything. It's the thing that comes next. The person stops it because they saw what happened. Therefore, now you've cheated death, and death doesn't like that, and death is now going to kill you in a more over-the-top, gruesome way. But this, I'm like, why is there this big gap? And thankfully, they did explain it, although I'm still just like, but why? And I kind of got this like Charlie Day looking,
Right, insert Charlie Day here. It worked.
I wish I had a GIF of it somewhere. But yeah, so she gets, she does go to I guess it'd be the uncle, because the grandmother had two kids.
She went to her uncle because her mom, it was his brother, so it's her uncle.
Yeah, she had two. They had the grandmother had two kids, the uncle, and then the mom again, who said the mom was kind of missing in action because, as they say,
we
like,
find
the grandmother
out
basically drove them crazy. Yeah, she kind of drove them crazy. So she figured that. I'm kind of jumping around, but I love this shot because I was like, I couldn't find a picture of the actual house, but I was like, the amount of like.
That's another question I had. You're so worried about death and. Like, God forbid you bring keys or a cell phone in the house, but you've got Walking Dead level, stuff outside of your home. Like, the only thought, because Tony Todd says that he helped her death-proof her house. So, did they make it as dangerous as possible outside to keep it away and keep nothing? I don't know. That's the only thing that made sense to me.
Negative.
Really, that doesn't make any sense, but that's all I can figure. I don't know.
It seems like that'd be too much to keep track of, because that was the point. Is she was saying like I can see it, like kind of how Steph has the same thing where she can kind of see the things fall into place, like where it might happen. I mean, to be fair, it is kind of just everyday normal stuff that you wouldn't think of, like when she talks about the pole saw could fall over and distract the guy with the leaf blower, and then the leaf blower blows the leaves of the kids, and the kids kick you in the head with a soccer ball, and you fall into a truck and die. It's like, what? I'm like, yeah, this which looks like an actual death trap. It's like maybe that is the safest.
So I'm saying,
logic.
It looks like Rick and Michonne should be living in that house. That's what that looks like right there. I don't know that.
It's like the flashback of season 3 when they find Morgan in the town, and Morgan's got the whole town rigged.
That's exactly what I thought. I'm like, I've seen this before. Morgan's going to be talking to himself in there, and Rick has to shake him out of his bullshit. But I don't know. Listen, that's the only thing that, like, maybe they design. I mean, obviously, it's a brick house, stone, so stone doesn't burn. So you took care of that. Right. Okay, she hasn't left the house in 20-something years. Is there somebody bringing? Are you door dashing stuff to you?
That's when you said that, I was like, "Are you door dashing?" Do you have like a professional runner that goes to town and gets you your food and clothes? I don't know, but it's a horror film. Don't worry too much about those details, even though they make no sense and drive me crazy. And I'll spend days thinking about it. But I'm neurotic. It is what it is. So I don't know. That was my two biggest plot points, which great shot. But and
that right there, and why I said you see Lois in the beginning, she has her eyes closed. How does she die? She takes that metal piece through the face and goes right through the eyeball in her mouth. Like takes that eye out. Like there's that foreshadowing that this franchise loves to do. So pay attention to the small details.
There is a lot of setup of things like,
from
a long time ago early in the movie that it comes back for a payoff there. Yeah, this is the moment right before disaster. I mean, she finally she finds Iris, who obviously looks a little disheveled, having stayed in her house for the last 20 years trying to shit talk death, basically. I mean, she looks up in the corner of the room and is like, "Yeah, think you'd get me, you little bastard." And Stephanie's like, "The hell are you talking to, man?" I mean, I don't know if that really does prove it, but I mean, shit, if your grandma walked out like that and then just because she finally says, like, "Screw it, I'm walking out this door," and that you can see she has the book there that she gives to Steph to try to help her figure this out. And yeah,
Great
it's like
book,
death wastes no time, and she just, I mean, that was almost my line, seeing is believing, and her head just explodes, basically.
So, here's the thing.
Ran right through her head.
Now, neither of us are going to know the answer to this question, but it deserves to be asked. So, death is a force in this world, right? There has to be an opposing force, because death would not give these people a premonition of what's coming to keep them from. Death would not say, "Hey, I'm about to kill you, and here's how I'm going to do it." Death would not do that in these movies. So what other force is there within this world? Is it God? Is it love? Is it life? Like, what is the opposite, the light to the dark with death? That is, like, they've never addressed this within this film franchise. That's my biggest
why these
bug.
People have
right. Like, if death is such a force, there has to be something on just like, every bad guy needs that knight in shining armor or whatever. What is that's saying, "Oh, I just saw, hey, we better get off this plane or get off this roller coaster," or whatever it may be? There has to be something that is doing that. They've never established that. I mean, I've read the comic books for this franchise. They've got I think there's 1 or 2 hardback books. Oh, and by the way, did you know Jack the Ripper actually dies in this world from a Final Destination death trap in one of the books that I read a long time ago? Didn't know if you knew that or not. But yeah, this, like I said, I go deep with this nerdy shit on my fucking horror stuff. But what do you think?
Oh, well, look at that. Look who's here. You have a question, Tex. Casey says, "Tex, why did you steal someone's work shirt from Whataburger?"
Because fuck you. That's why, Casey. That's why.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. Fuck you, Casey.
Pretty simple. Keep it short. Because fuck you. That's all it really needs to be said. But anyway, like I said, back to my question. So, what are your best thoughts of what is that force? That has to be something.
I wondered if maybe they would explore, because why does it seem like it's why do each of these people have that? Like, is there some sort of connection between them, or is there why does it pick these specific people out to do that? And that's what I wonder. I'm like, in this one, when you jump ahead 2 generations and it's Stephanie is the one who has it, I'm like, well, were we going to assume that Iris maybe could have had it? I don't know what, because she said she saw it, right? She said, well, actually, I do have that picture. She saw what happened and stopped it, right? And because she goes and stops the pan and tells everybody. So that's within your own family that 2 people had it. Otherwise, you've only just seen one one-off person. I don't know.
Is it because whenever I was rewatching the films, I was like, is it like The Shining, where you're just blessed? Is it like a skill that only certain people have, or is it a force? Is it because, like I said, if death is a physical being within this world, there has to be something on the other side. Otherwise, everybody's screwed. If death is there, then life has to be a thing to create it. So I don't know. It's deep questions that have never been answered. I'd love to see you answer that.
I'll use this picture. Rest in peace, Grandma Iris. But
she was cool.
It does kind of bring up a weird question of the thing that they explain this is why. My question was, so why is there this big time gap? Why does death wait this long to now start taking out this family. And I guess I never thought about it. I'm like, I guess if the grandmother was the one who was supposed to die, because death goes in the order that you were supposed to die in, right? In the premonition.
Yeah.
And if somebody didn't die, it's being hung up. Death is being hung up on this, and it's trying its damnedest to kill her, but can't. But the other thing is that, like I said, going back to an old Charlie Day picture here, that the grandmother had, is that when you realize that on that magnitude, that scale of that many people dying, and they didn't, that means these people all went on to live. They had kids, they had grandkids. So now this is now death's hit list. Now it's grown to this. I mean, again, I still maybe don't know why death took that long, but like, see, now it's got to work through all this, and it took its time over the last 50 years. I mean, it was like, if death is that creative, setting up that much bullshit, I'm like, yeah, it'd probably take a while to run through this, but
there's thousands of people that would be that would become. I mean, look at how many hundreds were just in that tower alone, and the ones that were driving on the road below it whenever it hit the ground in the house. Mm-hmm. There's thousands of people that would have came from just that one little section of town over 50 years. And, and so, obviously this film connects to the other ones. The other thought I had was, okay, well, they show you the airplane, they show you the logs of the truck. So who from the other films is related to somebody within that sky tower? Because that would coexist.
Scope of,
right. Like they really casted it open with this movie of, was Alex from the first movie, is he a cousin of this family? I mean, you could connect these so many ways, which now everybody from every previous Final Destination film is dead, by the way. But, they opened a lot of questions with this movie, which was done intentionally. But I don't know.
Yeah, kind of like when we're talking about the end of Smile 2. I'm like, wait, are you now
going to have to
the whole stadium full of people? I'm like,
what does that mean? You've got 10,000 people that are now infected. Like, good job. Yeah. Like, you really did it. I don't know.
I mean, this at least had, some legs. I'm glad I have this picture because I want to bring that up when they talk. See, because now Steph is now telling all of her family who's left, like, okay, so if it's going to work its way through our bloodline, going from the oldest to the youngest, starting with the uncle there in the center with the gray beard. Now, I want to say, maybe this is just the casting, but Eric is right next to him, and I'm like, you're telling me the guy who looks the absolute most like him is not his biological son? I just thought those two look almost like they really could be related, and his brother, who's all the way on the right, looks nothing like any of them. I'm like, I think maybe he might be the illegitimate child. I think you're lying to me.
Maybe Mama was holding around a little bit more. She did too. I mean, if she did it once, maybe she did it twice. We don't know. But
well, I don't know.
Who knows?
The punchline
maybe
is,
this was, he was about 30 years old. Maybe there was like a key party from back in the day where the neighbors just, got together and put together what felt right, if you know what I'm saying. And
we can use, let's say, spoiler alert, everyone in these movies die. So there you go. I don't know if you knew that. We have that now. We have a little fucking spoiler alert button up here that pops up. So
hey, we're getting all kinds of fancy if Elon will let us do our goddamn shit. But
we gotta do it ourselves.
So. Right. But like I said, that's the whole thing is like, by the way, the uncle's death in this movie, shout out to Frankenhooker. That was how the girl dies in Frankenhooker in the beginning of the movie, getting a electric lawnmower to the head. I was almost applauding whenever that happened because I love Frankenhooker so much. But
that or some Dead Alive with the
it was great. I love that. It was great saying it. I mean, of course you saw it in trailers, but getting rid because see, I thought I thought that was going to be the opening scene. So I like how they faked this out with that not being the setup to the movie.
That's the thing about a lot of these is I'm like, we've seen these movies, so we know how it goes. But I'm like, there was a lot of those scenes where they set up where you're like, you see the shard of glass go into the ice, and I'm thinking, oh my God, it makes you kind of cringe. Like, oh, is somebody going to swallow a shard of glass and some bullshit's going to happen?
Right. Yeah.
But they don't, and we're all like, there's so many things that could happen, and that's what keeps faking us out because we're not really sure what the actual chain of events is going to be. But it keeps you on your toes. I couldn't also find a picture of her, but it's also from that when the uncle dies because that's one hell of a scream.
That's a great screaming shot of oh my God, what just happened? Like That,
Oh, my
you
dad
know,
just got his head eaten by a lawnmower. That's what that is.
right. Yeah, like, you know, that. Well, that's another thing that I thought was funny was obviously, you know, I mean, the mom of this bloodline, she sets this all up.
Yeah,
I mean, she's the one that stayed away for 20
Yeah,
years or however long
Mom
she
does come
did.
back. Yeah.
And the second she comes back, brother's dead. Like, my God, the timing of this woman is horrible. And, you know, I mean, he offers her a key to his house and couldn't be nicer. And then, oh, you killed her. Thanks, you stupid moron. But, you know,
That's her
it's,
fault.
hey, that's
Now
the
it's
setup.
not Death's fault. Yeah.
Mom knew, you know, because mom had the gift from Grandma Lois, and she knew, hey, I have to leave. I'm going to be vilified and I abandoned my children, but to keep them alive, I have to leave. So, you know, shit
And
sucks.
I couldn't find one of Julia, but I will at least say she does get smashed by a garbage truck compactor.
Oh my God. Like,
that
great
was
death, but so much, they use so much
so
CGI in this movie. So, even the tower in the beginning of this movie.
I was gonna say, the tower. Did you notice that it looked like it was a freaking AI video? I'm like, this looks bad.
Yes, like and now obviously I know they use
that right there looks good. Like that fire stunt looks real, but like when I was watching, I'm like, that fire looks so bad. What is this?
Go back and watch the CG shot of the logs falling off the truck in Final Destination 2, and then watch the CG in this one. The logs look 1,000 times better in that, and that was 20 years ago. I don't know what's happened with CGI in Hollywood lately, but it sucks. Like, they have downgraded severely. I thought we were supposed to be able to just like make movies on our own that look spectacular. The old ones look better, y'all. Like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah. All right. So, well, see, there was one Easter egg. I tried to find the one of like I saw the airplane in the book, and there's of course the logs. So yeah, I think that's the uncle dying is kind of the, you know, everyone kind of believes Steph now that, oh, it's actually coming for our family, and it's going to work its way through.
Seeing is believing, I guess.
So it started with the uncle in the middle. His wife is fine because she's not in the bloodline. The dad, Stephanie's dad, who's in the gray jacket there off on the left, he's fine.
Yeah, he's safe.
And then Eric, who's next to his dad,
the kid with the peanut allergy.
Not his dad, but yeah, the dude on the end's got the peanut allergy. And like I said, we have Julia there, who was the one with the trash compactor. So the point is that the first one was the uncle. The very last one is Stephanie's sister, Charlie, who's all the way on the left, since he's the youngest. Right. So that's the thing, is like when I was talking like this, I'm like, okay, well, so then why? I mean, even though the line came from this man right here that just said, when you fuck with death, things get messy. I'm like,
yeah,
right. But why? Now, to be fair, was that just a fake out? Because then you did kill him and just explain like, well, I don't know. Shit happens sometimes. I'm like, well, no. We have rules in this series. Why? Is it maybe because death said, I don't care, I'm going to kill you anyway? Because it's not like this is a death that specifically only does this. I'm like, death is just death, period. I'm like, maybe he just killed him because he was getting in his way of they were trying to cheat death by killing his brother. Well, killing his brother.
But see, that's not even true though, because he didn't buy into the bullshit. Like he wasn't even answering the phone because he thought Steph was crazy. Which there's another problem with this. If death is going in chronological order, why would he go from uncle kids and then mom and then those kids? Would he not go uncle, sister, and then their children? Because technically grandma's kids came first. So if we're going in chronological order here, that generation should be wiped out before anybody.
On the other side. Yeah, you're right. It should have just gone to her kids and then their kids.
It should have gone uncle, Steph's mom, and then go to oldest grandkid, and then youngest, younger, and worked its way down. If you're going chronologically,
yeah,
right. Like I need to do like you said and put some fucking red yarn.
We're gonna be doing this. Like we're gonna be putting.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. The writers, I don't think they. I don't want to say they were lazy with it, but it's like they just didn't pay attention to the simple homework that they had. And you can't even keep up with your own bullshit chronologically. Like it's not okay. Uncle, his kids, and then you go do the other side. No, you go uncle, mom, blah 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 blah. But I don't know. To me, that bugged me as well. But whatever.
Yeah, there were some things that didn't make any sense.
Right.
And to be fair, right after that, and after Eric has his little brush with death and doesn't seem to care, we do get another Easter egg of. I'm glad I got that shot right when the truck was about to run his ass
call
over.
Back to the end of the first one, whenever a blonde girl stands out,
you can just drop fucking dead. Boom, hit by a truck.
Yeah.
But it was a fake out. I mean, I love
so many little shots like that.
Yeah, where it's like, oh, there's a callback, but it does just fly right past him. Don't worry, that's not his death. Although I thought that would have been kind of funny to have that callback of the walking in the street and getting smacked by a car.
Well, yeah, and that's another thing. It's, do you realize how many things, like, just look around the room that you're in right now. How many of those things could kill you? Like your cell phone cord that's laying, if you have like a nightstand where you put your cell phone at night, could the cell phone cord fall off of the bed, wrap around your throat, and kill you, just like the dude in the shower in the first Final Destination? So many ways you can die. I could fall out of my chair right now and a piece of wood spikes me in the back of the head. Hopefully it's on camera because that'd be really cool to see. But,
And that was the last.
So many things.
Final harsh truth.
The final harsh truth. We'll probably get took off of YouTube, but you can put it on Rumble, Frank. So you'll be fine.
Yeah.
So, don't worry.
All right. Anywho, so now that they're trying to figure this out, and after where's her face? Julia. After Julia gets her head popped like a watermelon inside of a garbage truck.
Yeah, she got
because as bad as it looked, I was like, that's still horrifying. Their head just kind of busted open like inside of a trash compactor. That was awful.
When I first saw that scene, I started thinking like, how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll Pop? 1, a 2, a 3, crunch. Like that's the first thing I thought when I saw that.
Anyway, so they go to the hospital, and of course they run into the man himself,
JB.
Who knew of Iris, and see now that makes me wonder. I mean, he's supposed to be the doctor, right?
Well, he wasn't a doctor. When you work with that mortician, he was a mortician in this world. Yeah, okay. I couldn't think of the word. That's right. Mortician.
Because I thought for a second, I forgot he was a mortician. I'm like, I thought he was a doctor because I was like, well, wait a minute. If that rule is that you can, if you kill someone, you take their time, and I was like, well, he survived. I was thinking like, oh my god, was he doing some malpractice on people and killing them and taking their time? Because that's kind of messed up, man.
The fan theory on Tony Todd since the beginning of these films was he was like the harbinger of death. Like he was death's representation.
That's what I thought.
That for years, forever, that's been the fan theory, and that's kind of what I wanted him to be. But they just made him spoiler alert without putting it up. He's a kid in the tower, but whatever.
Yeah,
there you go. Whatever.
Yeah, he was somebody that Iris had saved from the tower. So
right.
And I don't know what's going to happen now since he retires.
I love that he picks up that train as he's walking out because he has it playing with it as he's a child. I like that little touch in the movie too. I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh, I didn't even cut. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Flashbacks. Anyway, so now the plan is, that's them looking for Eric and his brother Bobby.
Yeah.
Is his name Bobby? Yeah.
I think so.
Because so their thought is that because remember, if you die, there's two ways, as Tony Todd explains, there's some ways to stop this. Either you just have to die and let death kill you, or if you die and say you come back to life, you'll still stop the cycle because you technically die. Which again, I don't think death likes loopholes either. But I mean, I guess whatever you die,
death doesn't like technicalities.
I don't think it does, and I was like, I don't know if you really want to try and risk that. So that's what I'm glad I got this little shot of him talking to his brother. So Bobby has a peanut allergy, a pretty severe one. So their thought is, okay, well, we're in a hospital. Take a bite of that Reese's cup. Yeah, take a bite of that Reese's cup. I'll stab you with your EpiPen if you need it, but I'm going to wheel you out to the hospital. in the ER room. You're going to die, and we're going to bring you back, and we're going to finish this whole thing. Because at this point, Bobby's the one who's next. So
Yeah,
that's
Bobby's
kind of
next.
plan.
Well,
Yeah.
it's so funny, he goes for like a random bag of salted nuts, and Bobby's like, "No, fuck that. If we're gonna kill me, give me the good stuff."
I tried to find. There's one of him holding like the vending machine. They're trying to get the peanut butter cups out. I love. He's like, I'm gonna die. I'm not gonna die for some unsalted bullshit. Like, give me one of them peanut butter cups, man. I'm like, right.
Give me something. The thing I've always wanted. Give me the peanut butter cup.
And I love that he bites it, and he's just like, really, dude? He's like, oh my god. He's like, what? He's like, that is goddamn good. I'm like, dude,
no
right
shit. Dude, peanut butter cups one of the most delicious things ever. But
it would suck.
I love how long they stretched out. That's they tilt the machine, the glass breaks, the spring pops loose, almost touching the glass. You think that's how they're going to get you, but then they go into the next room, and then they turn on the
big MRI machine.
They turn on the gigantic MR or CAT scan, whatever, and it's slowly, going up levels, medium, high, dangerous,
ludicrous speed.
Ludicrous speed. Yeah, there you go.
Baseball nerds, yeah.
They're going into warp drive, basically, is what I call it.
They're going.
And you see, like the nurse's badge on her neck starts to levitate. A fork slides across the table. The wheelchair flies against the thing, and then Eric, poor Pierce, freak of an Eric,
Eric
the
gets
nose
sucked into
ring.
The machine.
The nose ring goes, the earrings pop up, the nipples go. And then we see them britches rise up, if you know what I'm saying. Oh, boys, he's got a little something extra. And
a little extra member down there, yeah.
Yeah, he gets that Prince Albert ripped.
That little Prince Albert's got a little piercing of his own. So.
That made me cringe in my seat both times I saw this movie. I'm like, oh my god, that is fucking hurt. But that's the one of those Easter eggs I was talking about, where the skull tattoo, when the legs of the wheelchair are pushing through him. If you look at
by a wheelchair, by the way, that's what happens. Is the wheelchair goes through the machine, and it has to go through Eric's body. And it folds
he basically gets sucked into it with like his arms and legs like behind it,
bent backwards. Yeah,
and then, but if you look at the poster for the Final Destination, it's a skull with like bars going through it. It looks exactly like it. It's actually pretty cool.
Yeah,
but Bobby's over there dying because he ate a peanut butter cup. Oh, he looked bad, dude. He looked horrible.
Death by Reese's, man.
You know what? There's worse ways to go. At least you got a second choice. Whatever.
There was. I mean, now he doesn't have his brother to help him stab him with his EpiPen because he's getting sucked into an MRI machine. And then Death decides, hey, there's magnetism going on here, and I'm going to yeet that big spring from that machine, and it just impales Bobby's head right through his skull.
Oh my god!
And then it literally twists the knife. It starts drilling that thing and twisting it right through his head. I'm like, okay.
Oh yeah,
that's mean. That's so mean.
Very. Like I said, they used a lot of CG in this movie, including I'm fine with the CG on the deaths, but the blood should have been practical. That was my biggest complaint of this movie. So much CGI and blood. It's not. You work with the fake blood. You know how much it costs. It's way cheaper, y'all. It's whatever. But
you can make gallons of this shit. It's water, corn syrup, food coloring. That's it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Evil Dead had that. Evil Dead 2 had no budget, and they had thousands of gallons of this. We can't afford it in 2025. Like, really? What's going on? But that death was so cool to see this, of course. This movie, I don't know what you would say is the biggest death. Biggest would obviously be the beginning. I think my favorite was probably the lawnmower, just because of the callback to Frankie Hooker, just because I love that movie as well. But I don't know, what was your favorite out of it? Because there was some pretty good.
That was what I was trying to think of the whole time, and that was one thing I was going to ask: was what was probably the best kill? I
don't know. There's some really good ones.
Yeah, I'll say Eric and Bobby's were pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, even for callbacks, I mean, I would say the one at the end, but I'm like, I'll get to that in a minute.
See, I've got a proposition when it comes to the end of this movie as well, but that's a whole other conversation I'm going to make us get into. So we need to say that.
Yeah. Maybe in terms of creativity, it could either be like Eric and his brother Bobby, because like Eric's was pretty drawn out, and that's the thing that got me is because I'm like, well, again, he's not part of the family, blood related. So I'm like, yeah. So why did we get a fake out, and then you just actually killed him? I was like, that doesn't make any sense, but it was pretty damn cool. I mean,
see, I can understand him being. Cool. I can understand him dying in the second part with Bobby because he's covered in metal in a room with an MRI machine that's about to take off to the moon. That I can understand. But the first trip out in the tattoo parlor makes no sense. That should have been somebody else, or he should have been blood related. But
yeah, because then you drop the bomb and he's not related. I'm like, okay, then why did we do that? Why is Death even if it's like, why is Death toying with him then? Like, what was the point? Like, what did that do for them?
This movie had a lot of quick deaths. Eric and Bobby's is the one that took the longest, but not counting the opening scene. The one them in the hospital takes like 10 minutes of the movie. Everything else happens relative well, besides the mom in the RV there right after that, but even that still goes pretty quickly. Like that didn't take maybe 2 or 3 minutes. But I think theirs is probably the best just for the length and the severity of it.
Yeah, it was pretty gruesome.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, so now to end this whole thing, we've got these 3 that are left. For some reason, the mom, because I don't know, it would have probably killed her after it killed the uncle, which is her brother. But
it should have.
I don't know.
It should have.
Yeah, semantics. But maybe the point was that because she's still alive. I mean, I don't know, maybe Death is kind of frazzled at this point because he's just like not. He's still trying to tie up this whole 50 years.
There's got a lot of people to work on, y'all. Come on now.
Yeah, and because she's still alive, that still protects. Yeah, that still protects Stephanie and Charlie. Maybe that's kind of the catalyst of it. So they go back to the grandmother's Walking Dead fortress or whatever, because for some they say like, oh well, she was safe in there, so we crossed that threshold and we're fine. But I mean, Charlie does bring up a good point. Like, what are we supposed to do? Just live there for the rest of our lives? Like, that's dumb. I'm like, right, but we have to somehow stop Death. But they do find kind of a way to do it. They drive the RV back, and the RV does overturn because again, Death is a little bastard, and it did some BS to break Stephanie's seatbelt. So now she's stuck in the driver's seat and she can't get out, and the RV is flipped over on its side and it's falling into the little lake that was in her yard. So Stephanie's drowning, but the mom is still alive. So I'm like, well, that means we can't kill her just yet. Death's setting up his dominoes and he's kind of cutting the line, but whatever. He's mad because everyone else, cut the line and lived. I don't know. And the mom also kind of gets taken out in kind of a cheap way. She just kind of dies. Like the light pole fell on her or something.
She got set on fire and I can't remember.
She got like Michael Myers in Halloween 2. She got blown up and
burned. Yeah, she got blown up. Yeah. Hers was fine, but it like that.
Yeah, but she was like, "Don't worry, Charlie, I'm going to stay alive." I'm like, yeah, well, that was it. She's gone.
The problem with her death was hers came right after Eric and Bobby's, and theirs was so good that like by comparison, it was like, oh, this is not, they should have did this one first because the other one's better. But yeah,
maybe he was trying to hurry because he's already got Stephanie like drowning in the RV. So
right, he's already working on the next one. Right.
Yeah, he's getting impatient. So he does. He kills the mom, and now he's working on Stephanie. Now the brother Charlie goes in there to save her from drowning, and you just kind of see it cut to black, and it cuts to her being, she's being resuscitated by her brother, and you kind of think, oh hey, well wait, you just died, and I brought you back. Cool, I guess we solved it. Yay, happy ending. Everything is right with the world, but guess what? Spoiler alert, no, it's not.
Our entire family's dead, but we can be happy now because we survived. Yay.
Yeah. We're going to go to prom or whatever. Her brother.
We
Your
have
brother's
no
going to
more
prom.
relatives, but you get to go to prom and, you know, do whatever, you know, woohoo. You know,
Yeah.
very insensitive. Whatever.
So when Stephanie takes Charlie to his date for prom, and they meet the dad, who's a doctor, and says like, "Oh yeah, this is your big hero. Your brother saved
He's
you."
a hero,
Like,
yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah. He's like, yeah, because I died. I almost drowned, and he saved me. And he's like, well, no, you didn't die. If you were unconscious, that didn't mean your heart stopped. You're still breathing. You're still alive. And you think, oh shit. And here comes this most MacGuffined bullshit ass penny. Let me go back. Somehow this old lady got hold of it because it fell. Yeah, because it fell out of Stephanie's book, and some old lady found it. And this old lady somehow happens to live in the same fucking neighborhood as everyone else. And she buys a lemonade off this little girl who's got a stand.
It was super easy, barely an inconvenience.
Trust me, I'm looking for it. Yeah.
There's so many of those. There's so many of those within this franchise, by the way. There is like 1,000 of them. Yeah.
So the penny flies out of her little coin purse, goes down the stairs, does a triple somersault, American Ninja Warrior over to a fucking train track, and it stops the train from switching tracks. And that's the oh shit, it sinks in. And they realize, oh, we didn't actually stop death. And here comes this train, it derails and just plows through this neighborhood that they're in. And we get a funny little callback, and all I really have to show for it is that.
Yeah.
And they just vaporized like that by a bunch of logs that flew off this truck. Roll credits.
Look at how good that shot is right there. That is a CG log. Okay. The trees are like, all of that is made up right there. Well, the truck is real and it's on the road, but they CG'd around for it. But look at how good the CG is in that shot compared to what they gave us in this film. Like, technology is supposed to get better, guys. What happened? Like, that makes no sense to me whatsoever.
Yeah,
whatever.
That is even still just. I'll say it. I'll just say it. That's what happens at the end. Those logs come flying by, and they just flatten Stephanie and Charlie like pancakes. And that's it.
Or did it? Now, have you seen Final Destination 3 lately?
Not recently. I remember it's the one with the roller coaster, right?
Yes, because at the end of that film, the end of that film ends with Mary Elizabeth Winstead and her friend surviving. She pokes her finger on a rose, and it's a premonition for what comes in the next movie where she's actually alive. Same thing happens in this movie. Steph pricks her finger on the rose that she puts on Charlie's tux, and then we see train happen, logs. Considering the money that this movie has made, I'm proposing that we see at least Steph and Charlie again, and that wasn't an actual death. I think that's a premonition to kick off for the next movie. Now, if this movie had made no money, then they would be dead. Movie over, cut your losses and go home. It made over $100 million that we know of for sure. We're getting another one, guys. It was already before it even made $100 million. I saw production for 7 was going greenlit prior to this money being made. They may be fast tracking another one if I had to guess. But that's what I'm proposing, that they're not actually dead. That's a premonition to start the next movie.
That's a good thought. I never even realized that could have just been a premonition because they didn't actually die, and she can still see stuff, and that would mean she's the next one. We also don't know who else died. Was it just them? Because you need some big catastrophic thing for more people to die.
Well, hey, you've got a whole little perfect neighborhood in their little cul-de-sac for that train to tear apart.
It ran through some houses for sure. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So there's a whole new cast of people that we haven't even met yet for Final Destination Bloodlines 2. This time it's the Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And another one's coming because I don't know what they paid to make this movie, but they made a lot of money on this movie. So, another one's coming. And that's the problem. Like I said, that's what I'm just throwing out there.
That's actually a pretty good Pretty good guess. I never would have known. All right, let's see. Let's see if we can find some box office. Can't you just tell me?
I know it did well. This movie did just as well overseas as it did in America. Like opening weekend, it was like 100 million.
Wait.
Or
No,
whenever I saw on Monday, the Monday after it came out, it was like 102 million, and it was like 50-50 for US and then the rest of the world. It did good.
Okay. There we go. Well, according to AI, ironically, the production budget for Final Destination Bloodlines was 50 million. That's actually not bad.
No, it's not bad at all.
That's not bad. The film opened to 102 million worldwide.
Yeah.
That's on the weekend, but it's made a little more since then. So yeah, you've already doubled your money. So that's definitely
yeah. There's another one coming for sure.
That's definitely on a good track. And again, that's what we keep saying. Keep it under. Don't 50 million. I'm like, that's not peanuts, but in the world of making movies, that's not terrible. Honestly, that's pretty. What you can do with 50 million to make a movie like that. I know we're complaining about the CGI. I'm like, yeah, just.
Well,
you make more budget because if you cut the cost there. I'm like, why are you making this dumb CGI blood? Because it probably costs more to do that than to just again make up some blood.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, of course, the rule with the sequel is go bigger and better. Technically, well, with the Final Destination, though, some of my favorite deaths are like, oh, well, dude slipped in the shower and the shower cord wrapped around his neck and then he hung himself. That costs no money to do. Like the death where the teacher gets impaled by the knife and then she gets Steve. Her computer starts to smoke. She gets impaled into the neck. She falls down, and then the wood block comes down and impales in the chest.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's the practical little small deaths within these Final Destination movies that are so cool. Not every death has to be, an airplane fell out of the sky. Those are cool.
The first one, yeah,
but that's the first one. It's you can go cheaper on the other deaths and still do really good with this because it's like I said earlier. What can kill me within the room that I'm in right now? And it's that's the fun with these.
I think maybe that's what you need to. Yeah, you still need to do your big set piece. Do your big.
Do like one big one, and then get creative. Get creative, and actually use your brain for those other things.
Yeah. I'm cool with that. I will say before we get into some trivia, I don't know if it's on the trivia, but one thing I noticed about this with her Charlie Daywall, did you notice that when she put that stuff up there and was making the timeline stopped on the year 2000, which was when the first movie came out? Yeah. I was like, I got you.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That year. Who else? Who on that airplane? Well, I mean, obviously, it would probably be somebody from the main cast that we saw. Well, technically, it could be somebody from.
Around, remember? So
it could be somebody from part 1 or from the first one or part 5, because technically that one takes place before it as well. So from either of those films, somebody within those crews are related to somebody in this movie.
That's what I'm saying. This is what messes with the timeline. Is like, wait, so we're supposed to know that all this stuff is now happening before the first. This is all happening before the first movie. All these people that are dying, being killed by death, are all leading up to this. I'm like, so wait, so how many people has this branched out to? Yeah, this opens up a whole new can of worms with this.
Right.
Jesus.
I don't know. It's like when we were talking the other day about horror timelines. This movie might have just took the crown from Texas Chainsaw and Halloween. Like they may now own the throne because like they've created multiverses within themselves, and hey, but you made 120 million, whatever you said. It's obviously working. So why don't mess with it too much.
Don't mess with death because it gets messy, as you said.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we've beaten this to death in so many creative ways. Get into some trivia.
We're not dead yet, so that's good.
Yeah, we're still here. Start seeing a light flickering, we're gonna start getting weird. Actually, no, let me use this. Let me use this for the first one. The first little bit of trivia. This is, of course, the final film for actor Tony Todd before his death. And it says he was in invisibly rough shape while filming, but he pushed through to reprise his iconic role. Honestly, I'm like, dude, if I look that good at 69 years old,
considering the cancer and everything, he looks great. I mean, obviously,
he looks great.
obviously he was not his full-bodied self like he normally was, but you know what? It was. Did you ever watch Three from Hell, the sequel to The Devil's Rejects?
I still haven't because I refuse to because that two
Yeah,
ended so well. I just don't want to watch it.
Well, when you see Sid Haig in that movie, he's only in it like 5 minutes. Like he couldn't even finish the movie. He was so bad at that point. He visibly looks kind of like how Tony Todd does in this movie. Like you could tell he was not doing it well.
I think I saw some behind the scenes stuff. And I was like, God, man, he looks rough.
He looked like a skeleton with twice the size skin just drooped over it. He
was pushing 80 something, wasn't he? So I mean, I kind of got it.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, two horror icons, Tony Todd and Sid Haig. They're some of the greatest ever. I mean, God bless them for what they did.
Okay, let's go. That was the hospital. There's them looking at him. Tony Todd, of course, was allowed creative control over his final scene since he clearly didn't have much time and the crew wanted him to have a final word of his career. His final monologue was one that the crew encouraged him to use to impart some last wisdom to his fans. It kind of seemed like a nice little sign off, enjoy your life because you don't know how long you have, and just winks. And I was like, okay, that's a good sign off. I like it.
Jigsaw said, "Cherish your life," and Candyman said, "Life is precious." So I listen to the ones that know best. And people applauded after Tony Todd spoke what he did in this film. Whenever I went to go see it the first time, and it was just. For the horror nerd in me that, I mean, from the 1990 Night of the Living Dead, so many cool things he's done over the years. It's fitting that he went out in one of these movies because he's synonymous for it. If he had died in just random movie, it'd be sad, but it wouldn't be as monumental as it was with a Final Destination film. So
I'm glad it was something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go to this one for this. This is hilarious. In real life, Owen Patrick Joyner does have a deathly peanut allergy, just like his character Bobby.
Oh, method acting. There you go. So
that's deep. I was kind of wondering that when I saw the scene. I was like, I wonder if he actually has a peanut allergy. And now I know. That's hilarious. So
I wonder what the peanut butter cup was made of. It was maybe like whipped cream with food coloring and chocolate or something. To make the peanut butter.
There's a guy I watch who does props and stuff for movies, and
when
he does stuff for food, it's like, we molded this and we filled it with this and made it look like, this looks like a piece of candy. This looks like a hamburger. This is not really what it is, though. But
hell, I mean, George Romero used ham and chocolate syrup for flesh in the original Night of the Living Dead. So it's only uphill from there. So
bust open a bucket of KFC and that's what they had a party. Well, and if you all know the shower scene from Psycho famously uses chocolate syrup for the blood, so whatever.
Yeah, movie magic, folks.
Let's get let's use Julia because it's that scene. The beer that the family is drinking during the barbecue is Heist Pale Ale, which is a fictional brand that has appeared in the series since Final Destination 2. So we're getting some continuity here.
I didn't notice that. I'm surprised I didn't pick up on that being a beer guy, but I watched all of these movies the week of this one coming out. I mean, that's cool. That's like isn't it Tarantino that always uses red apple cigarettes or something like that? Yeah, it's hey, if you've got the right to use it, it's that's cool. I mean, and all of these are within the same world, so it would make sense.
What I actually noticed, and I think I had the picture, but it was kind of blurry. You can't really see it. But when Julia's behind the bar there, I noticed a particular thing of vodka that's a Crystal Head shape, and I wish I could walk out right now and go grab it. There was a Crystal Head vodka on that counter, which is made by Dan Aykroyd, who is
Dan Aykroyd,
really into the occult, and spooky ghost stuff.
For the ones that don't know, look at the occult stuff that he studied, Gozer is an actual name of an actual demon. There's a bunch of stuff, actual real occultism within the world of Ghostbusters. It's pretty interesting to look into.
That's what he's talking about. Let's go to this, since all these pictures are somehow conveniently working out with what I have. I guess
it was super easy, barely an inconvenience.
This is all working perfectly. 71-year-old stunt woman Yvette Ferguson came out of retirement for a fire stunt in the premonition scene, which director Zach Lipovsky believes to be a world record for the oldest person set on fire on camera. So, hey, shout out to her.
There you go. That gotta say that was a pretty gnarly one, and I like in the premonition part of that where Lois is running around. She grabs that pot lid and slams it down on top of that fire and running around like she's having her little Rambo scene. That was pretty cool. It's like, okay, I need to go take that penny from that kid, go push them off the dance floor, go put that fire out, whatever. So, hey, you know what? I know Kane Hodder is kind of the king of the burn, scene, considering what it did to that poor man. But, for an 80-year-old woman to have the balls to light herself on fire, that's something.
Retirement to do that. I love that.
No shit.
Best one to have at the hospital. When Darlene lists off the possible names in the hospital, she says Clear Rivers, who is the protagonist of the first and second Final Destination.
Yeah,
I was wondering
I picked that up. I heard that. I was like, wait a minute. I know what y'all did there. I understood that reference. There's a lot of little things in this. And like I said, that's what's so cool about this movie is there's Easter eggs all over the place. But
there's another one.
Yeah, if you don't, it's something that's cool for the deep fans, but it's not going to ruin your experience if you don't watch any other Final Destination. So everybody can enjoy it. I like how they do that.
Yeah, following that up, when Iris and her boyfriend pull up to the venue in the opening scene, the car license plate reads FL818E, which is obvious reference to the original film's The Flight 180.
Flight 180, yeah.
Like, holy crap. Also, Flight 180, because it all comes full... Well, that'd be Flight 360. But if you know, it comes back all again in the fifth movie, because whatever. You know what I mean? There's little stuff like that.
There is 180s all over the Final Destination franchise. I think my favorite one is at the end of the first movie where that sign flips upside down and impales old boy. And when you see him, it says 180 because it's upside down or whatever. I think that was my favorite.
Yeah.
But there's a lot
really
of
go deep with that shit.
I was watching because all 6 of these movies have had the same producer. They did it's like a 45-minute YouTube video where he breaks down like the most famous kills and scenes throughout the whole franchise coming up to this movie. And he kind of breaks down. We actually had a Bible. We took notes of callbacks and they actually paid attention to certain things, which so many franchises just forget one movie to the next. And they don't keep up lore. They're pretty tight with them in these movies. So kudos.
Hell yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know when the last movie was. I'm still looking through.
Last one was 2000.
Oh, I said 2011. Right?
11, yeah, it was 11. God. Yeah,
that is right, because this is the first Final Destination film since in the last 14 years. That's true.
It was 2011. Yeah,
it's been a hot minute. It's also the highest rated film, which we saw with Rotten Tomatoes being at 95% of 75 reviews. Yeah, Tony Todd reprises his role. Let's see. It's talking about too how Iris is also the oldest person who has a premonition, the longest. I guess maybe the longest living, but also the oldest one that's ever.
Yeah,
But she's also
That's what
not
I'm
like
saying.
the main character, so to speak. That's the thing. It's her granddaughter, so that's kind of a weird twist. That it's not. She's not the lead.
I
You know,
really hope they explain the
the
premonitions,
premonition.
because they've explained death literally to death in these movies. We need, at least I want to know why, or not why, but how or who is allowing these people to have this gift. Is it like a gift from God? Is it, if death is a thing, is life a
Actually,
thing? I don't know. There's got to be something.
Actually, okay. I don't know why this one says Stephanie is the only protagonist in the Final Destination franchise who isn't a visionary. I'm like, well, no, she was having the visions.
She had the vision. That's not
She
correct.
does. I mean, she does ask. Yeah, she does ask her grandmother. I'm like, that was an interesting line when she says, like, why am I
That's
having
the
this?
point
And
of the
she
whole
says, I don't
movie.
know.
She goes home because she was having. That's not
Yeah,
correct at
but
all.
she says to the grandmother, she's like, well, maybe that's death's like sick way of like giving it to you now instead of me because apparently I have cancer now. She's like, that little bastard still came for me. I'm like, no, she still has it. It's in her bloodline. I don't know if like maybe the mom knew it too, or maybe the mom just got paranoid. That's what she did, because of her
Right.
mom. It's amazing that her brother turned out as happy-go-lucky as he was, because that's amazing.
Well,
Good
the
Lord.
other thing that kind of bugged me about this movie, they don't ever talk about Grandpa. They talk about Grandma Lewis. What happened to Grandpa?
Yeah, I don't know, because we were like, yeah, that was a premonition. He didn't die. He didn't fall off the tower. So you're
Right.
assuming that, like, obviously she was already pregnant, so she still had the kid.
Like, did they? I mean, obviously they had another kid, so they had to be together.
Yeah, like unless they were twins, yeah, then they had to have
Like,
another kid.
unless they were twins. They don't look like
No,
twins.
They had to
They
have
don't.
been because they were in the bloodline. Yeah, they had to have been.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they make a big deal about Grandma Lois going crazy, and we got took away from her. Is Grandpa still out there? I mean, like, is this? Do they talk about this in a sequel? I mean, that would be something you could do, but I don't know. Like, did he die 20 years ago? I mean, we don't know what happened. I mean, I don't know. That just occurred to me.
Instead of going to a barbecue, the family would have met at a Chuck E. Cheese ripoff called Howard's Happy House. Well, at least it wasn't Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. I mean,
So they're trying to get in on that Five Nights at Freddy's, tie in here.
Yeah. Well, see, then all of a sudden, if Matthew Lillard walks in and greets him at the door, it's like, wait a minute, motherfucker. Wait a minute.
Somehow Freddy Fazbear, returned.
Wait, maybe he could have been. No. They go into this Freddy Fazbear Pizzeria or whatever, and Matthew Lillard is the waiter. He takes her orders and he goes, "All right, I'll be right back." Taking their drink orders. I'm like,
and then you look at his name tag and it says Stu, just for fun, just to mess with everybody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That would have been pretty damn funny.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah, because they mentioned up the top that it was supposed to. I'm not even doing pictures anymore. At the opening scene, instead of this, they were going to do something like even further back in the 50s on like a riverboat, but they said, quote, "We're not going to try to out Titanic."
Well,
I'm like, well, okay, fair, but yeah.
Well, that's the thing that, like, I was talking about earlier, the book that, because the earliest, I'm trying to remember, it's like 1880 something is the earliest one of the Final Destination things. And there's 6 people involved, and Jack the Ripper is one of them. I read this book years ago. I don't even know if I have it, but that's like 1880s is like the earliest one. And then like the comic books and the 2 books, they're tied in with the movies. It's all one universe. So this has been going a long time. So, I mean, they could go really anywhere before then and do these things. But, to make a period piece, that takes a lot more money with costuming and the world you got to build out. That's when movies, cost so much, but who knows?
I'm going to go back to the picture of Bobby because now I need to confirm if this is true. Let me make the screen bigger. I don't know if I can tell. Okay. Apparently, I don't know if this is true, but apparently, where in the hell is it? Bobby wears a hoodie that says "Level Up." The CT scan machine would level up its magnetic power, which would be used to kill both him and his older brother.
No, that's funny.
Wasn't
he wearing some kind of like cartoon character, video game character hoodie.
I don't
or
know.
something.
I can't see it.
I can't remember exactly what it was. It looked like some kind of anime hoodie or some nonsense. I didn't know what it was. I couldn't.
Look like that
no
Kanye
idea.
West CD cover with the little bear going through space.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
funny.
I mean, I'm sure we'd sure like this to be true because I mean it's not like it's a common last name, but Iris's surname of Campbell may be a reference to actor Bruce Campbell, star of the Evil Dead series. It could also be a reference to actress Niv Campbell, who stars in Scream. Her first name,
Or
Iris,
just-
could be a reference to the Goo Goo Dolls, a song by the same name. Yeah. I don't know. Sure.
That's one of those factoids that, I know another actor by that name. This sounds
I saw somebody with that name. Yeah. Sure.
That's not an Easter
Did
egg.
you
That's
know
lazy writing.
The Penny, that guy Abe Lincoln, he was a vampire hunter, like that one movie. Like what? Okay.
My lord,
The leaps and bounds.
that's about as accurate as a kill count. But
I'm looking at some of these. Some of these are kind of ridiculous. Spoiler ones. Oh yeah, it does say, like you said earlier, Iris does die in a similar manner of her premonition, where she fell from the tower into a broken piece of rebar, which impaled her through the head. So
that's what I'm saying. It's all you gotta. That's the reason why I purposely watched all 5 movies the week of going into this, because it just meant doing my mental gymnastics to be prepared, because knowing what these movies like to do, they throw this crap at you. So it's a lot of fun.
Oh, see, here's an even bigger setup. The movie opens up on a set of train. Movie opens on a set of train tracks, foreshadowing the train that takes the lives of Stephanie and Charlie in the end. Darlene also tells Stephanie to not let Iris's beliefs derail her life. Funny.
Wordplay is fun.
Some of these are just like so long, I don't even care to fucking. I don't want to read them.
Right.
Assuming Wendy from Final Destination 3 dies, it's the 4th consecutive Final Destination film to end with all the characters dying. Well, not if it's like you said, if that's not a fake out to set up the next one.
Well,
that's not
counting the potential fake out of this movie. The producers of these films did confirm on X that everybody from 3 is dead. They did come out and confirm that because people were questioning. But like I said, that doesn't mean that they didn't. If we take the premonition at the end of 3 and they died after that, that would make sense with what I'm proposing of the ending of this film. The prick finger and blah blah blah. They did that intentionally. They knew exactly what they were doing, because look at how many other things that they did in this movie that were out of another Final Destination film. They stole that one too. I guarantee you that's a setup for another movie, and the money it made. But just my theory. A film.
There's also the Penny kid is the first kid who's died in the movies, even though it was a premonition. I'm like, they didn't technically die, but we have to assume that he did eventually die somehow, because if it's killed everyone up to this point, that kid did die.
I mean, just like Tony Todd said, he was the last one. So
he was a kid. He lived.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to read the rest of these because they're longer than shit, and I don't feel like going through 15 more. IMDb, who's always wrong anyway. So, wrapping all that up. So what'd you think of the movie? I mean, do you enjoy this one? Do you think it fits? And obviously, I think we've talked about there being a sequel. So,
there's part 7 has been greenlit for production. I don't know, and apparently it's the same directors from this film, from what I read. So they're bringing the same people back, which is good. Yeah, I like this one. It was, besides the dodgy looking CGI and overuse of CGI blood, that I have to deduct points for that. But besides that, good story, good formula, great kills. It was a fun movie. I mean, this movie flies by when you watch it. You don't feel like this movie never drags. Like, even in the scenes where you're just learning, you still have fun. And, it's one that this is one of those you want to make sure you go to the bathroom before you go in because you don't want to miss a second. So, yeah, definitely go check this one out.
Yeah. I definitely enjoyed this movie. These movies are fun. Like I said, it's whether you care about the story or not. I mean, the story is kind of there. The point is the fun and creative kills and the ridiculous ways that they still come up with to kill all these people in the order they were supposed to die, having cheated death. Yeah, I think this one was kind of fun. Like I said, it fit in its own narrative, but it fit within the world because obviously we see other Easter eggs to Flight 180, which is, that's the OG, and we're never letting it go. The truck with the logs. That's, like I said, that has staying power. That's, like I said, that's like the Jaws of like the newer, of like the millennium. Like no one wanted to go swimming because of Jaws. I'm like, no one drives on the highway behind a damn truck.
I still change lanes if I see a truck hauling anything like that. To this day, I still do. So, yeah,
I'm not.
I've been scarred. Yeah.
Or like I think the beginning of the Descent happened that way too, didn't it? Like the husband dies like in the first like 30 seconds. Boom, it gets like
he gets out of there pretty fast. They thank him for his service quickly out the door. He was done.
Yeah. Cut to a year later, we're gonna go in a cave full of these weird like Wendigo people. Sound good? And we're gonna make a stupid sequel because it didn't need it.
Anyway, the Descent 2 was not great. Descent 1 is fantastic. 2, you can skip it.
I think they still should have gone with the original ending because the only reason why there is a sequel is because the American version is like, no, she lived. I'm like, no, she should have died like the original was intended to. It was
should have raised the stakes up really pushing. They pushed out. Whatever.
I think they should have just gone with the original ending from the European version. Maybe I don't know if we will review those movies, but I feel like those would be a good. Well, maybe we review the first one and talk about that because that's one of the.
We haven't done Descent since I've been here. Maybe y'all did it before, but not since I've been.
I don't recall. See, I need. Where's the damn picture? I want to be doing this shit. Like, which movies did we review? Which ones did we not? God, this is getting really in depth.
Well, once Frank gets in his new place and get his studio set up, maybe we can start going back to some of these gems that, even if they were done years ago, they've probably been deleted by YouTube at this point, so they probably need a refresh or whatever.
We can go back and visit it.
Figure something out.
Anyway, this movie's in theaters right now. I'd recommend giving it a watch. It is still fun, and you don't have to do any homework, like we said. You don't have to watch the other ones to really get it. So that's always good. All right, let's get the hell out of here. So, Tex, where do the people find you on the interwebs?
Well, I know
now.
Yeah, Twitter sucks. Texafire on Twitter, whatever. If you want to find me, I don't post anything, but it's there just for show purposes and news. But and I know probably nobody will see this and actually show up, but I'll be at Texas Primary Weekend Saturday all day. Come find me. I'll even wear this shirt just so you know what to look for when I'm there. Say like, hey, I watched The Harsh Truth. Just like that would be really cool and make my day. So somebody surprise me.
You might run into this fella right here. He's going to ask you when your shift starts at Whataburger.
Casey can't get off the couch for the McDonald's shoved up his ass right now, so he don't know what he's doing. It's all good.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Awesome. As for me, I guess I'm on Twitter. If you can find me, if you can find anything.
Yeah,
I'm here
Tuesday. Let us speak.
Yeah, I'm here Tuesday and Thursday. Tuesday will be the final episode of season 2 of The Last of Us. So,
oh shit, that's over already. Damn, that went quick.
Yeah, we're at the end, and I think we're at the halfway point in the second game. So I think that's about where we're gonna be. And whenever season 3 comes out, I'm sure we'll dive into that. Yeah. So. Season finale for Walking Dead. God damn it. Last of Us.
Hey, technically Walking Dead. I'm watching season 2 of Dead City with Negan and Maggie right now on AMC Plus. It's actually really good. So if you have that, go watch that too.
True. It's on. I think it's on the same time. Sundays at 9. So, yeah. And I don't know what we're doing Thursday. I have
no idea. I'm not sure Frank
Yeah.
knows. Frank's trying to find some, have a roof to sleep under right now, so he's a little busy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you might have to deal with me again, and probably text somebody.
I'm sure we'll figure something out. Maybe, there's always, we can get out here bullshit for an hour and a half. It's not that hard. So
Yeah.
it's all good.
Yeah, hell, we bullshitted about Fallout New Vegas for like an hour and a half the other time. So
Right, there you go. That's what I'm saying. Figure something
all
out.
right. Anywho, yeah. So we'll see you guys back here on. Here's the music. We'll see you guys back here on Tuesday. We'll go over The Last of Us. You guys' long holiday weekend, whatever you may be getting up to.
Enjoy Memorial Day.
Don't throw any pennies off of a tower. So
Yeah, don't be a little trick kid, and don't go stealing pennies out of fountains. Just say.
Bad luck, don't you know? We'll see you guys on Tuesday.
See you,
Goodbye.
BJ. See you, Rachel.
Goodbye.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.